First, I want to thank you for all for coming to this reception on a very hot afternoon. This year, we're recognizing the Easton Garden Club's outstanding tricentennial project. My name is David Ains, and I'm the president of the Easton Legacy Fund. And with me today are three other members of the board, Doug Arico, Ken Michael, and Paula Peterson. And also Pam Borbet, who is our media director. And Pam oversees our website and social media and does a terrific job. It's so important for us. I want to thank particularly Ken Michael, who in addition to being a board member of the Legacy Fund, is also president of the Easton Historical Society and Museum, which is hosting us today. I want to also thank the representatives of three of our prior awardees, Fred Ains for the Oaks Ains Memorial Hall, Marie Kelly for Smith Farm. Should I pause for applause? And Christine Santoro for the Children's Museum. Okay, and Tim Hurley, who's the chairman of the Easton Historical Commission. Tricia Grime, sorry you didn't get it close. Tricia Grime of the South Coast, the director of philanthropy, and Melanie Tavares, who is the president of the South Coast. We're very honored that you came up for this, Melanie. And I just want to say, parenthetically, that the South Coast is really our backbone. They handle all the applications for us, put them in shape, and send them up to us to review. And also they manage our portfolio, which of course is a pretty significant concern for us. And they do it well. So I also like to thank Joan Lundgren, who's prepared the delicious buffet.
Thank you.
And finally, I want to thank ECAT. Jack is televising the reception tonight, and it's going to appear on ECAT later this week. As a relatively new Easton not-for-profit, ECAT exposure is very important for us. So thank you, Jack. The Legacy Fund is an endowment whose mission is to help to enhance the quality of life in Easton. Compared to the Garden Club or the Easton Historical Society and Museum, the Legacy Fund is a recent arrival in Easton. But every year since 2021, income from its endowment has funded a grant to help support an important project of an Easton not-for-profit. Taken together, not-for-profits make a huge contribution to life in Easton. And that is something that we try hard to communicate. Increasing appreciation and support for the not-for-profit community is a major objective of the Legacy Fund. Since 2021, we've had 4 grant winners: Oaks Ains Memorial Hall, the Easton Food Pantry, Smith Farm at Borderlands, and the Children's Museum. We like it when our gifts help to generate more support for projects, but that sometimes can mean there's a significant lead time to project completion. That is the case with Smith Farm, the 2022 grant winner, and the Children's Museum of Easton, the 2023 grant winner. Both projects look to be completed in the next few months, and Marie Kelly of the Smith House and Christine Santoro of the Children's Museum are here to give us an update on the role of the grants and the status of the project. So, Marie, let me.
Great, thanks so much, David. I'm Marie Kelly. I am a board member at Smith Farm at Borderland. I would be remiss if I didn't also say I'm a proud board member at the Children's Museum Easton, recruited by Paula Peterson, and Christine's kept me on, so. But today I'm here to talk about our project at Smith Farm. So thank you so much to the Easton Legacy Fund. I'm actually pleased to report we are complete. Our project was finished in December of 2023. So while we were the 2022 recipient, as David mentioned, as a historical building and dealing with historical renovation issues, we did extend our project a bit just to make sure we had everything lined up, and working with our next step of the project, making sure we were completing it in a way that was going to be ready for the interior renovation. So it did take a little bit longer, but we are complete, which we're proud to report. I actually do have some handouts that I will give at the end, just to share. It was the final report that we did send and shared with the Easton Legacy Fund and with the Community Foundation. So I will share that so you can see some pictures, because the pictures really are a great way of kind of explaining how wonderful our space is out there in Borderland. So if you've never been, Smith Farm is on the Bay Road side of the park. We are a nonprofit. We lease the land from the community. It's from DCR, but we are our own 2 acres, and we are a nonprofit. And our goal really is to enrich lives through community programming around health and wellness. And we have a particular interest in supporting veterans in our community. That's been, from the start, that's been a target audience of ours. We offer programming on the exterior at this time. We do Tai Chi programming with Easton Martial Arts. We have yoga programs. We have ham radio operators that come out once a month and do emergency preparedness ham radio work. I still don't quite understand what they do, but they're a lovely group. They are out there making sure that if there is ever a crisis, like maybe today's 911 crisis, they would get the communication grid back up and running through their ham radios. The project funded by the Easton Legacy Fund was our handicap accessible ramp and deck. So as a historic building, the front of our building is not accessible. We knew this going into it, and we wanted to make sure that we provided a way for everyone to access the first floor of our building once the space is open. And so we're, through the support from the Easton Legacy Fund, we were able to complete that project. And now we have a handicap accessible ramp and deck that will allow us to have the space on the first floor open for when interior programming begins, which is wonderful. We're so grateful to so many partners in Easton who have helped us get where we are. The exterior is done. The Town of Easton's Community Preservation Act funded quite a bit of our exterior work as a historic building. We've also had wonderful support from Northeastern Savings Bank, Christine Lober Foundation. We have a memorial garden for Christine Lober, who was an Oliver Ames graduate, who tragically lost her life through her work with veterans. And we've been able to put in a memorial garden for her friends and family who are local to the town to come out and see the space and just sit and be in peace out there. We've also had really wonderful business partners who have helped us. Watercourse Solutions, Lucas Murphy, helped us put in a septic, which means that once the interior is renovated, we actually have a septic that will work. And Kevin Eustace, who is a local veteran and owns the Sticks and Stones Builders, has done a lot of our exterior work for us as we've gotten grants and gifts to make that space, to renovate that space. So we're really grateful for them. And so our next step, so once we put in now that the handicap ramp and deck is complete, our next step is working closely with Southeastern Regional Vocational Technical High School. They're going to be doing their interior work for us. We have lots of paperwork that we're going through right now, permits and memorandums of understanding. So once all of that is complete, we will be working with the faculty and the students. It'll be a hands-on community project for them to renovate the interior and to make the space, again, accessible and open and ready to support community programming. We really love the exterior. It is such a beautiful space. If you've never been, please come by. We would love to kind of show you around. Just walking through the park and seeing it is such a beautiful thing. But what we really are excited for now that we have the deck and ramp in place is to make the interior project complete so that we can actually open the building. Once the building is open, it will be a space where community members can use for a variety of health and wellness programming. Again, our continued effort will be to partner with veterans programming, practitioners and agencies. We already have a wonderful relationship with the Brockton VA and with the VFW here in town. And so we'll continue to find ways to outreach to veterans and do programming for them, as well as make our space available to practitioners who want to use the space as an alternative to therapy and programming in a more hospital-based setting. So that is our future. It is a labor of love. It's been a number of years underway, but we can see the light at the end of the tunnel, and it's thanks to the support of so many people in the community, but in particular the Easton Legacy Fund for helping us get to where we are right now. So thanks so much.
So, thank you, Marie. I think that project is going to be a real resource for a lot of people here in Easton once it's completed. And I would certainly echo what Marie says about the location. That is really one of the prettiest places I know of in Easton. It is lovely. So next, I'd like to ask Christine to come up and talk a little bit about the project at the Children's Museum.
Well, thank you, David, and the Easton Legacy Fund and the Board of Advisors. It's really an honor to be invited here and to be a participant here. This is a wonderful, wonderful group. I want to extend my heartfelt congratulations to the Easton Garden Club for their beautiful plans for the Tricentennial Garden, and to say that all the efforts that the Garden Club has done over the years have not gone unnoticed. You really have beautified this community, and I'm so happy that you received the grant. Last year, the Children's Museum received the Legacy Fund grant, and we used the money to purchase and install two new doors, one for our accessible entrance on the first floor and one for our emergency exit on the second floor. And I'm happy to announce the doors are installed. They haven't been painted yet, but we're holding off on that because what if they happened once we received the grant here? My staff got thinking about all the other things we needed to do at the museum, and the ELF grant became the cornerstone for our building rehabilitation campaign. So it inspired us to apply to the Mass Cultural Council for a grant, which we were awarded last week. So it's very exciting. I know a lot of you know about the museum. I mean, the building is an old fire station. It was was opened in 1904, so it's 120 years old. It has had many reincarnations. It's been a children's museum since 1991, and it's been a really successful, a wonderful, experience to be the director there. I'm really enjoying my time there. We have a lot of work to do, but the most important thing tonight is to recognize that the Easton Legacy Fund makes vital contributions to nonprofits. Not only does it fund nonprofits, so it's fiscally important, but it also promotes nonprofits. There are so many nonprofits in the town of Easton, and each one of them is deserving of support. Just think about it for a moment. Just imagine Easton, without the Ames Oak Hall, without Smith Farm, the Children's Museum, the Garden Club, the Historical Museum, and so many other deserving nonprofits. And nonprofits, we need support. Whether it's grants or donors, that's how we exist. So having an organization that has stepped up and recognized the importance of nonprofits is really wonderful. And that's why I really think what you're doing is just so, so important. So hats off to the Easton Legacy Fund, and thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Christine. That's really nice, and I do want to say that my grandchildren have been out to the museum, but they enjoyed it. It's really kind of difficult to pry them away. So,
Yeah, I mean, they've been kicking and screaming.
so
No, that was David.
So I want to say that this year's winner is unique for us. The Garden Club's project is Easton's tricentennial garden, and it won't be on Town of Easton property, but on the Historical Society's homestead landscape grounds. So before Linda speaks to us about the project, Ken Michael, who in addition to being a member of the Legacy Fund's Board of Advisors and the president of the Historical Society, is also a member of the Tricentennial. Ken will talk to us about the project's fit with the visions of the Historical Society and the Tricentennial celebration.
Does anybody have a script I can borrow? That's a pretty big test. You have to remember who you're working with. Anyway, thank you all for coming tonight. I am the president of the Historical Society, and before we launch into anything about the Tricentennial, I would like to add another thank you to the gentleman in the bush hat next to me, John Coe, for the work he did setting up today to enable us to come in here tonight. Not to mention all the work he does internally here at this museum, because without John's leadership, you wouldn't be looking at what you're looking at. So, thank you. I can only echo some of the things that have been said about nonprofits and their value to Northeastern. And I think going directly to the Garden Club program for the Tricentennial Garden, it's going to be the first major project for the Tricentennial. And its significance is that, A, not only is it going to be there so people can see it, it's going to last beyond the Tricentennial. There are lots of things going on with the Tricentennial, like banners that will be on the streets and signs in the windows and so forth, that are going to disappear after the Tricentennial is over at the end of next year. You may see them from time to time. Some of the souvenir booklets will be around. I think we still have, what, about 480 from the last two?
250.
No, 250. That's the 250. We have another 380 from the 275. But all of those things are necessary and relevant to the Tricentennial and prior historic anniversaries. But there isn't really much, unless you come across a couple of coins or books, that have lasted beyond each and every one of those anniversaries. The garden that the Easton Garden Club is going to put in right out here to my left, and by the way, I have made some inquiries about that site plan by Olmsted, so I'm keeping my fingers crossed. There are two ladies here who gave me a beating a couple of weeks ago because I didn't have a plan of the landscape here done by Olmsted. And I think, and once again, I'm probably going to be wrong again, but it's going to be perennial flowers, and I'm going to leave the overall description to the Garden Club folks because I'm going to mess it up if I try to do it. But I think the key point that I'm trying to make here is it's going to last. It's going to be here, and so when people come by and people look in the future, they're going to see it, and they're going to know what it was for. And it is, I think, only fitting that it's in front of the Historical Society because we're going to be here. And what happens here is mainly as a result of all of the various new businesses up on Main Street, the shovel shop apartments here. There's a tremendous amount of foot traffic that goes by here every day at different points of the day. The trustees' reservation, people going for walks. I think we've become the trustees' parking lot over here on the right for walkers in the evening, which is fine. But it's going to be viewed, it's going to be seen, and it's going to be continuously seen. And that, I think, is the key to the Centennial Garden. So with that, and having said all I can possibly say, I'm going to give the microphone back to David And I know I didn't meet half of the requirements that you put on me when I got up here, but it was impossible. Thank you all for coming tonight, and I hope you enjoy it. Thank you.
Well, thank you, Ken. I don't think you have to apologize at all. That's very good.
Oh, I wasn't apologizing.
Okay, all right, well, whatever it was. The Board of Advisors looked at some very deserving projects this year, but the Tricentennial Garden Project was such a unique and enduring one, as Ken was just mentioning, that we unanimously agreed that it was the one we wanted to support in 2024. A lot of work goes into conceptualizing and executing a project like this, and Linda Thompson-Clem, the president of the Garden Club, has been involved with it since the beginning. She will talk to us about it here, and then take everyone who'd like to see the site out to take a look. And I'm going to say something here, it's a little bit of a housekeeping note. We'd like to take some photographs at the site. So would the board members of the Legacy Fund and the Garden Club please stay a minute before going back in for more of the buffet. So, thank you, Linda.
Well, I'm really delighted and honoured to be here tonight on behalf of the Garden Club and along with some fellow members, board members of the Garden Club, to receive this very generous gift from the Easton Legacy Fund. We were, I think I said it to David when he called me, it was like, oh, you made my day. And the day was still made, especially when we got the cheque in the mail last week, so thank you very much. My thanks to all the members of the advisors, Paula, Doug, David, Ken, for having faith in us and taking a jump away probably from a project you might have considered in the past, because you will be supporting an amazing garden. Admittedly, it's still in the planning stages, but we're getting a little closer. And I have to tell this tale because I very nearly didn't even send in the application because I didn't think the project was far enough along. I thought it was still a bit nephorous. And, but after a conversation, I was persuaded to send it in and to do it. So I spoke to Ruth, who is a member of the Garden Club and a landscape designer and an altogether wonderful person, and said, we're going to do this. So we did it. And it got in with 10 minutes to spare. But then the following day, and I have to say thank you to the people, or whoever the young lady was on the phone at the South Coast community, because I made a complete mess of dates. I had everything done yesterday type of thing. You know, it was done last year when it was going to be done in the future, but she very kindly went in and changed the date. So I didn't really look as if I had egg on my face. And I have to thank the Garden Club for being behind this project. It's not something we've ever done before. We do lots of projects across the town, but we've never taken on a major start from scratch, down to the bare bones and stones and soil type of project like this. So it's very exciting for all of us. And we are a garden club that likes to get their hands dirty. I mean, we love floral arranging as well, but we like to get our hands dirty. So this is going to be down and dirty, and we will thoroughly enjoy it. But to talk about the garden itself, a tricentennial garden is a very appropriate way to celebrate a 300th birthday and all the history that goes with it. So in talking to Ruth and to doing research and looking at websites that deal with ancient sites, so to speak, we came up with this plan that really is going to encompass not only a wonderful garden, but also some of the history that you can see around you. When you're outside, well, you can see it in here as well, you notice the curve of the windows and the lines of the windows. That's now going to be incorporated into the plan, because the arch type of plan was what we wanted in the plan, but then all of a sudden when we realised that it's sitting there in front of us at the Historical Society, we changed a few things, and it will really look stunning. And we understand that there is a logo for the tricentennial, and we have more or less decided that we're going to include the logo on a stone, probably in the centre of the garden. We've got lots of other ideas, and they keep coming. When we start to talk about something, well then, maybe we could do that, maybe we could do this, but the bare bones are there. We know what the space is, we know what our limitations are, and we have to thank the Easton Legacy Fund for really getting the project off the ground. Without your support, we'd probably have sat around and talked about it a bit more and, maybe planted a few flowers, but we wouldn't have embarked on a project like this. So thank you to all of you, and thank you to the foundation over there, the ladies from the foundation, and to everybody else in town, because I hate to say this tonight, but I'll be coming back to you for some more money as well. And we're going to be fundraising for the project. So thank you very much. Thank you very much, John, for this wonderful reception tonight. Thank you to the Historical Society for hosting us, and anybody who would like to see a quick scope of the plan outside, I'm perfectly willing to take you. Thank you.
Well, thank you very much, Linda. You said things that really are important to us, and we feel really gratified that we have fulfilled the role that you needed filled at that moment. I would say one other thing. I think we might have an extra hors d'oeuvre or two on this buffet. So please, I'm sure Joan will sort of facilitate that, and you will have a very good
I'll eat them, David.
snack.
I'll eat them.
Ken has stepped up, so maybe it's not necessary. But just in case he doesn't get it all. Okay, well, thanks for all of you for coming and everything. And, as you said, Linda, thank you, John, for really a nice job of setting this up. My God, I thought originally that we'd be out in the sun over there, which I thought was going to be a great idea, but it didn't turn out that way. You saved us. Okay, well, thanks very much, and let's go out and take a look. Good.
Hi, my name is Linda Thompson-Clem, and I'm currently the president of the Easton Garden Club. I'm standing here at the Easton Historical Society Museum building in what will eventually be the Tricentennial Garden. The Tricentennial Garden will encompass a large area in this beautiful hedged-in space, complete with a patio, seating, and some memorials to people who have already been memorialized here in this garden, but some other people from the community as well. Currently, we're in the planning stages, and hopefully the final plans will be available in a couple of months, and then the work will start, and we will invite people to come down and see what we're doing and to be part of the community effort as we celebrate Easton's 300th birthday.